Commission meeting for September the 9th, 2021, in Perry, New Mexico. Tonight, our invitation will be given by Ralph Lopez. I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand.
Let's bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you tonight, Lord, for letting us gather tonight. We thank you for all the blessings you've given us, Lord. We ask you to watch over our town. Thanks for keeping us safe on our way here. We ask you to guide us home safely, Lord. Help us to make decisions that are pleasing to you, and just continue to bless us, Lord. All this we ask in your Son's Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Here.
Commissioner Moya.
Here.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Here.
Commissioner Arias.
Here.
Mayor Litchfield.
Here. Next, are there any considerations of changes or deletions to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya.
Here.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Under public comments, do we have anyone signed up tonight? Okay. Under public comments, citizens wanting to speak during this time must sign up prior to the start of the meeting. Public comments is an opportunity for citizens to comment on non-agenda items. This is not for discussion nor questions and answers, and citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak. So we have Connie Loveland.
Try to get it all done in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to remind everyone about our final Fired Up Friday will be next Friday, the 17th. At 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. we'll be having children's workshops with Odd Lab, and then we'll also have the open mic night starting later that afternoon, and then Odd Lab will perform at 8. We'll also have food vendors, craft vendors, games, all that good stuff going on. I wanted to say thank you to the streets department for fogging for the mosquitoes. I was attacked greatly last night whenever I was delivering some groceries for a friend, and I was glad to hear that everybody was out because they've been bad. And then finally, I just wanted to let you all know that we received a $25,000 grant from Union Pacific for the East Room at the depot. So I don't know exactly when that funding will be coming in, but we will be presenting some plans to the commission to move forward with restoration on that east side. Thank you.
Okay. Next is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any member of the commission may request an item be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent without discussion or vote. Tonight, we will be voting on approval of commission meeting minutes for August 26th, street closure for the fall block party for 10/2/2021, Damon Coles Park use permit for the 5K fun run walk. Are there any of these that would need to be discussed other than just voting on the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Next is discussion items, and it's a presentation from Bands of Enchantment, and I believe Ken will be doing it.
Yes, ma'am. And Vincent Ty will be on virtually.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
It's your turn.
Excuse me. Sorry.
All right.
So wonderful to be back, and thank you for your time. We're very much excited to share with you all the exciting updates. If you give me just a second here, I'm going to pull up the presentation and also, oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rick.
You bet. And then I'm also going to pull up Vince Tyson.
This is a lot better to have the TV to be able to do this instead of huddling around our small circuits.
That's right.
Okay. Well, while Vince joins us, oh, there he comes. Ty, can you hear us?
I can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And you're on the screen, so your head is very large on the flat screen right now. That's everybody.
Yep. Hi.
Ty, we're just gonna kick into the trailer and then we'll get into the presentation. So thank you. And
I'm just gonna mute my microphone, team me up, Amy.
yep, you got it. All right, I'm just gonna kick off with the trailer just to give a refresher. I'm not sure if everyone's caught the show as it's been airing across the state and other states as well. But here we go. Oh, forgive me. We did have a speaker system to hook up to. Okay. All right. Remember that TV show that we all made in March now? Like that sets the tone. As much excitement as we had in March making that was just the beginning. And there's a lot to go through as the show has now been going out across the country. And so we look forward to giving you these updates and filling you in on everything that's been going on with Bands of Enchantment. Okay, it worked. Whew, that was close. All right, so here we go. A little update. City of Tucumcari and Bands of Enchantment. Press updates. We're really excited about this, so we wanted to start with it. I know some of you all, we had it kind of scattered on the table as everyone was coming in. BOE was featured in August on the front cover of Albuquerque Journal Venue Plus, the largest newspaper in the state with a daily distribution of 96,825. Albuquerque Journal is now a proud sponsor of Bands of Enchantment Tucumcari sessions on New Mexico PBS. We were also extremely excited. I just wanted to point out too, that kind of like a really important thing for all of us, I know when we're talking about this, is champion New Mexican artists. And I look at this spread and I see Grammy nominated artists. I see Brett Dennen, who's been on Daryl's House, who's been on David Letterman, and he's right next to our New Mexico artists. And I just was like, couldn't be more proud that you look at that spread and what we all kind of envisioned, it happened and it's continuing to happen. So I just want to take a moment to point that out. So what else? Okay, so in August, Albuquerque Journal ran a print and digital article on their homepage reaching 1 million viewers. Albuquerque Journal will be running banner ads on Venue Plus 5, digital banner ads on albuquerquejournal.com, 175,000 impressions, and multiple social Facebook posts. And here we have one of the featured posts that they did last week. So again, just getting the word out there, spreading the net. BOE is featured this month in Enchantment magazine with a monthly distribution of 90,000 Mexico homes, readership of 270,000 monthly, covers 80% of the state. And this is all that it covers with their, where they distribute their publications. And I've laid a couple of those out for you to take a look at, and definitely these are for you guys to take home too. It was featured on LasCruces.com. Also featured on SantaFe.com. Also featured worldwide on Yahoo News. With all, I should point out that every one of these articles, the city of Tucumcari is mentioned. We were featured on Amarillo Channel 4, and that was an interview with Vincent Ty Chavez and clips from the show. BOE is featured in the Roswell Daily Record. BOE is featured on highplains.com. BOE article is featured on celebrityland.com homepage, the #1 source for all celebrity news, lifestyle, and entertainment information. And it's listed on New Mexico True Events page. That's just what's happening right now. As it starts to roll out, and I'm going to go through where it's rolling out on television, it just keeps coming in. Every day that I look, I find a new one. So we'll keep giving the updates, but it's just spreading. The excitement that we experienced in March with the shoot, people are just getting that excitement. And that's the power of video, of television, and what we've done is it's just going to continue to spread. So social media, let's talk about that. YouTube, the official BOE trailer has only been up for 3 months and is already up to just about 12,000 views on YouTube with 1.5K likes. Every other week, we release an acoustic BOE video featuring a new band in a different part of Tucumcari. There are over 20 plus BOE videos on YouTube with a bunch more to come, including trailers, show teasers, interviews, exclusive performances, and behind the scenes, giving BOE and Tucumcari a huge YouTube footprint that lasts forever. And I also want to point out that we've shared all of these with the artists. And so they're posting these right now too. And that goes out to all of their fan base. And we're talking, Lily High has 44K. Making Movies has, I believe, 40,000. It just keeps going on. And the sharing just keeps spreading the net more. Facebook. With the BOE Facebook page released in May, we have already reached 19,058 people. With posts trending at 8,284 and 6,809, and an engagement nearing 1K, BOE's presence on Facebook has been very well received. And I also thought it was very exciting that the numbers were matching up with one of our New Mexican artists. And these were
Yeah. What I thought.
Yep. And these were reposted and reshared by Lily's page, which I think is even higher on Facebook. Instagram. In only 6 months, the BOE IG page has reached 2.8 thousand followers. Demographics spiking in the ages of 18 to 44, with an average of 59.9% engagement from women and 40.5% engagement from men. And if you get a chance, check it out, because we post daily, we share stories, and we have air times, where to watch the show. A lot of engagement happens on our Instagram. We also repost our TikTok videos, which we'll get into in a second. We have a TikTok page now too. We also feature behind the scenes and then season 1 clips of the band. A lot of this content is reshared by the artists. And just to talk about it, we are now sharing content with the artists, as I mentioned, and they have been reposting on their social media pages. Lily Hyatt has 44K followers on Facebook. Brett Denon has 31.4K on Instagram. Making Movies has 35.7K on IG, on Instagram. All this combines to create a gigantic net of show awareness and Tucumcari awareness. So I just wanted to point out a couple ones, because it warms our heart when we read these. But for Making Movies, again, with close to 40K followers, to say Tucumcari will forever hold a special place in our hearts. We met new friends, performed for Bands of Enchantment, and spent a wild time in our motel room on Route 66. Southern Avenue, we had such fun performing Love You Nice and Slow live at the Tucumcari Railroad Museum. Many thanks to our friends at Bands of Enchantment from New Mexico for putting us on your live music television show on PBS. They were posting all over town as well too. And just a shout out to them, they're performing next month with Nathaniel Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats and Black Pumas and Widespread Panic at Mental Fest. And they also just did an appearance singing the national anthem for the NBA playoffs and NHL. TikTok. Now introducing, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's a thing. Now introducing the BOE TikTok. It's only a couple weeks old, but we're up to 614 followers and videos nearing 1K. But it will grow fast, and I look forward to reporting back to you guys about that. Twitter, audiences can catch airtimes near them and all the latest and greatest BOE news on our Twitter page. That's the handle. And so, super excited about this. BOE and Pepsi in-store sweepstakes. It begins next week. It's actually rolling out right now. We just got a submission, and this is happening in grocery stores, gas stations across New Mexico and Texas. And you enter to win. So what you do is you buy a Pepsi product, you scan the QR code, and it takes you up on a fun little scratch off. You scratch it off on your phone, and you can enter to win BOE and Tucumcari merch. So you get a t-shirt, Bands of Enchantment Tucumcari Sessions, you get a guitar, Bands of Enchantment Tucumcari Sessions, or the grand prize, 65-inch flat screen TV, and we send you a link and you can watch Bands of Enchantment. TV updates. All right, let's get to the steak. So, I don't know if everyone's seen it, but it's been going on. So, just to review the first stations here, KNEW New Mexico, PBS Panhandle, New Mexico PBS, KRWG. BOE premiered on PBS KNEW June 14th to overwhelming responses. The show aired Monday, Friday, and Saturdays with the season finale August 27th. August 23rd, BOE began re-airing on Monday, Friday, and Saturdays with a season finale happening November 11th. Coming in for a total of 60 episode airs and 6 months of airtime. KRWG, Las Cruces, Alamogordo, Silver City, El Paso, Juarez International. BOE premiered on PBS KRWG July 3rd, touching all of Southern New Mexico, just said that, making BOE international. The show is still airing on Saturdays after Austin City Limits, with the season finale coming September 18th. The show then re-airs Saturdays, starting September 25th through November 20th, coming in for a total of 20 episode airs with 5 months of airtime. Also, a lot of people have been pairing it with Austin City Limits, which is super exciting because they're kind of saying, spend an evening in music, watch Austin City Limits, stay for Bands of Enchantment, or watch Bands of Enchantment, stay for Austin City Limits. So to benchmark that as how we wanted to do it, and then it's being paired with the show that we benchmarked, it's really exciting for us. PBS Panhandle, Texas Panhandle, West Texas, Eastern New Mexico, and the Oklahoma Panhandle, premiered July 7th. The show is still airing on Saturdays after Austin City Limits, with the season finale coming September 25th. The show then re-airs Saturdays starting October 2nd through December 12th, coming in for a total of 20 episode airs with 6 months of airtime. New Mexico PBS, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Taos, Farmington, Las Vegas, and more. Premiered Saturday, August 14th. One of the most watched public television stations in the country. Didn't know that. Reaching over 650,000 households each week with 22,000 members. Airing Saturdays on channel 5.1 at 4:30 p.m., 5.4 at 5 p.m., and again after Austin City Limits at midnight. Airtimes run through August 14th, from August 14th through November 7th, for a total of 30 episode airs with 4 months of airtime. We are so proud to announce that Bands of Enchantment Tucumcari Sessions will broadcast nationally on PBS, airing across the country for the next 2 years. They can re-air it up to 3 times at all the individual stations across the country. Each month, over 100 million people watch their local PBS stations, making it the 7th most watched television network in prime time. With viewership of the Cowboy Channel dropping by 30% in 2020, we are thrilled to share this huge upgrade. Air dates are coming soon. This is very exciting for us because in addition to that, it is now streaming nationwide. I had a friend tell me in New York yesterday, hey, I watched your show. I had a friend in Los Angeles, hey, I watched your show. I said, what? He's like, yeah, I just downloaded the PBS app, looked up bands, typed in BA, and it came right up. So anybody can download the PBS app for free. And it is available nationwide. And anyone in the country can download the app and watch the show. More than 32 million viewers watch video on PBS sites and apps, and over 53 million fans enjoy PBS digital studios and other content on social media. More streaming. Amazon Prime now is IMDb TV. So any Amazon Prime non-originals now stream through IMDb TV. No paid subscription necessary for IMDb TV. Everyone who has Amazon Prime has IMDb TV. So just to clarify, when we first started doing this, you could, as a production company, you could upload a show to Amazon Prime, and that was what we all talked about. Now they do it through IMDb TV. If you have Amazon Prime, you'll probably be watching IMDb TV and you don't even know it. It's interfaced into Amazon Prime seamlessly. But the good news about this is we're still getting it up there, but we're going to have the opportunity to now bump it to these streaming platforms as well. So we're paying as a production company to then get it into these streams as well, because the more visibility, the better. So I will be following up with where it will land, but we go through an aggregator and then they take it to these streams. And so we're potentially looking at quite the reach. Oh, I had the numbers there, but we will be following up with, but the stream just continues and continues, and the reach. So, contract review. I'm going to kind of jump through this, but I just want to highlight what we talked about, what we agreed on, and what happened. So, provide an exclusive promotional position for episodes 1 through 4 of the program. BOE Tucumcari Session, built into the title. Provide right of first refusal of the exclusive promotional position for episodes 5 through 8 of the program. That was given on March 19th, right here. We were all there. Provide right of first refusal for exclusive promotional positions for season 2 of the program. That's going to happen today after this presentation. I'm going to quickly, hopefully by about 7:30, go through that.
All right.
Provide 30-second pre-show commercial for display distribution on RFD TV. So 30-second pre-show commercial now moved to PBS Panhandle starting October 2nd, New Mexico PBS starting October 2nd, and PBS National Stream Limited Run. And I just linked up with Mr. Martinez, and we do have that commercial to then put up. Create a presented by opening card that will feature the city of Tucumcari and be included in the program wherever the program is displayed, exhibited, or distributed. Went further, and we integrated it into the title, BOE Tucumcari Sessions, because we did this together. Include presented by credit and any print advertising. Again, it's integrated into the title, and we get to see it all over. Co-brand the Bands of Enchantment show opener with the city of Tucumcari to be featured wherever the program is displayed. The show opener, if you haven't seen an episode, talk to me after. I can show you how to stream it, how to watch it, where to go. But the show opener is shots of Tucumcari. It's stated with voiceover, filmed live in Tucumcari, New Mexico, and branded Tucumcari Sessions. Place City of Tucumcari branding on the onstage banner. So that's not allowed in PBS, but we did brand integrate it into the show with Tucumcari Motel sign. And it is considered the visual highlight of the show. And we hear it all the time. I mean, you see it in how they cover. We give them a bunch of different pictures, and it always comes to the top. It is a beautiful addition to the set, and we're so proud of it. Include presented by credit on the Bands of Enchantment website. Tucumcari Sessions is in the title on the website. Provide 4 tickets to each taping of episodes 1 through 4 of the program, should audience members be allowed. City Council and community members were invited to private VIP access to the show. And again, promote admittance to VIP section, each taping episodes. Members of City Council and community members were invited to VIP access of the show. And then exhibit the program via traditional over the air, OTA, or over the top channels. OTA, KNME, KNEW, KRWG, PBS Panhandle, and PBS National Broadcast. Over the top, PBS National Streaming, and additional streaming services coming soon. Provide a bond payable to the City of Tucumcari for covered amount of $60,000 was completed. Now, just want to go over a couple add-ons that weren't in the contract. Social media, not in there. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok integrated into BOE posts. And we just went through all that together. YouTube, plus 50 and more BOE Tucumcari co-branded videos. 12 acoustic videos from around Tucumcari, 10 artist episode trailers, 12 breakaway songs from episodes, 6 show trailers, 12 artist interviews. 2 episodes added. We agreed to 8. We did 10. So this is a bit of a review of kind of everything that we went through. And with $15K per episode for 8 episodes for a total of $120K. And then for the added 2 extra episodes, it's an added value of $30K, and then all the social media as well. And that's a thank you, because we took a risk together and we built something really special. And I just want to remind that, we came in, Vince Senior came in here with an idea of a TV show and it was $220K. And you guys came in for 120, and when we filled that gap with the rest, and together we made something that we're really proud of. And I hope you guys are too. So with that being said, we got something else to talk about today, but I want to just take a pause and remember what happened in March, and then just pause for any questions, because we do have to kind of update about season 1, or would you like to talk about everything at the end after I present season 2? Does something work better for the flow, or? Yeah, I mean, since this is fresh in mind, is there anything I can answer in regards to everything? It's a lot. I know it's a lot. Is there anything that I can answer?
Oh, I'm overwhelmed with how much advertisement we're getting out of this.
We've been busy.
Yeah, the amount of streaming coverage we got, I mean, that's going to be huge in the months to come.
And it continues on for 2 years, and all that social media presence is never going anywhere. And I mean, we're still sharing some of the stuff to kind of slow burn the release, but Junior Mesa just posted his video. He's going on tour with Bono's son next month. Okay, here he is. Sorry, is this back on? Can you hear me? So we slow burn the release of these acoustic videos, and I was saying Junior Mesa's we just released, and he reposted on his page and all his social platforms, and he's going on tour with Bono's son next month. So these kind of I think these guys are going to be pretty big. We're starting to see it happen. And, with someone's like Brett Denon's acoustic video, I went and visited Larry at Motel Safari, and he said he had a group of friends, or a group of guys stop at the motel, stay for the night, and they said, hey, This is where Brett Dennen stayed. We had to come here. We love Brett Dennen. Is this where he shot the video? And, you know, we kind of conjure up these ideas and we wonder if it's gonna happen. And then when it does, it's just kind of like, oh, wow, cool. And, you know, I know Connie had mentioned that she's having people come through weekly. Hey, is this where Bands of Enchantment set is? And the set's still there. And they go and they get to walk on the set and take pictures, take selfies. You know, we talk about ROI, and it's how do you go? Like, hey, did you come here because of that billboard? You know, how do you truly? We're going to get numbers coming in from all this streams and the air times, and we'll follow up with that stuff. But really, how do you know? And for me, it's kind of hearing these little stories that I'm like, oh, they did see it. Can you not hear? Okay. So anyways, to answer your question, because just to elaborate a little more. Yeah.
Well, it's the first of a very good footprint.
Absolutely. And the national just starts from 2 years now. So people are going to be experiencing the excitement that we experienced in March 6 months from now, a year from now, a year and a half. Is there any other, anything else I can answer, or questions or comments?
Okay.
No, we'll continue sending updates and
Okay.
celebrate, you know, things, victories that, you know.
I'm glad to know about the app too, so.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah, I did it on my phone. It takes like 30 seconds. Okay, so hang with me there. Ty, are you still with us? I guess not. So now we're going to talk about season 2.
In that little paper, there's enough.
Oh, yeah. Okay, season 2. All right, technology. Okay, so season 2 marketing proposal for the city of Chicken-Carrot. I think we all know by now what Bands of Enchantment is, but just in case for a little reminder here, weekly music performance television show celebrating the rich culture and history of Americana music on the backdrop of beautiful New Mexico. Chicken-Carrot, New Mexico. Season 2 is 10 half-hour episodes projected to film in March for a June 2022 airtime. Each concert is personal, filmed in the heart of New Mexico, the land of enchantment, featuring established industry acts and incredible up-and-coming talent. DOE has grabbed national attention and laid the groundwork for an annual festival. It's in Austin City Limits for New Mexico. Season 1 is airing now. Mayor Steve Adler announced that the 2018 ACL Festival contributed more than $264 million to the Austin economy, and that's from ABC. Okay, the trailer, we watched it, and Brett, we remember him. Potential bands, schedule permitting. These are just some ideas. These are people who we're thinking of, people that we've spoken to last season. There was some that were real big, and because tours weren't up and running, it just wasn't in the cards, but now that's changing. So, sky's the limit. Brett Dennen's manager also manages Leon Bridges, Grammy Award winning. Talked to him about that during season 1. The conversations have been going. Potential bands, New Mexico, Dream Noise, Byland, Albuquerque, Red Light Cameras, Albuquerque, San Open, Las Vegas, New Mexico, excuse me. These are just idea starters as well. So just the exciting part, the music. Season 1 recap, we kind of just went through it, but just a little memory lane here. Where the bands of season 1 have appeared, little reminder, and the list keeps getting longer. Episode sample, I'll follow up with Mr. Martinez with this deck, and if you just haven't had a chance, this one crams 4 into 22 minutes. So each episode is 1 band and 4 songs and interviews. This just does 1 song a piece, so you kind of get to see more in 22 minutes. In the news, we just kind of went through that. Social media, we chit-chatted about that. BOE and streams nationwide for 2 years, so that continues on in season 2. Here's the stats for PBS. And currently adding the following worldwide streaming services, and it'll also stream on PBS as well. These are just some of the numbers. If we do get all 4, and it's a lot. Okay, so City of Tucumcari plus Bands of Enchantment. I'm about to get into the menu slide, and we'll just go there. Oh, first, the billboard. That's exciting. Okay, so the City Takeover marketing menu. This recaps everything that we did in first season, and we're going to up the value. Now the price point. I did want us to remember that we did come in with a $220K for the show. Like I said, we as a company backfilled the other amount. It didn't we weren't able to bring the price down. We saw the value of doing this as well. And so I know it seems like a huge jump from 120 to 300, but remember that it's 220 to 300, and that would be 30K per episode. This is just to present what we're looking at for season 2. We had the luxury of no band on tour, and we were able to shoot it out in 2 weeks. Next time they're going to be on tour, we're going to have to spread out through a month. We have kind of set it up so that it's before South by Southwest and after South by Southwest, so we can pick off that tour as they go in and as they come out. There's just some costs that have taken it up, production up, because of how we were able to do it for season 1. It's changed. Audiences, we still don't know. We're saying anywhere from 25 to 50, just because Delta, where it's at right now, COVID, we can't guarantee anything. But we're kind of keeping it audible, loose, as information comes in, kind of as we did for season 1. City of Tucumcari has right of first refusal. We want to be here. This is where we built this together, and it's a month to review. We're already brainstorming on how to take the burden off the City of Tucumcari. Mr. Martinez and I have talked, Mr. Duplantis and I, we're going to figure out how we can help offset the cost in any way. But this is what the cost would be for season 2. So just to be transparent. That's pretty much it. I mean, is there any questions, thoughts, comments?
Go ahead. My thought, it does seem like it's pretty steep all of a sudden, but also when we went into this last year, it was an unknown, and we thought there was only going to be 1 station, and now we've got multi-station. It's airing right now, going through the Panhandle, upwards of Oklahoma, which, if we gear toward tourists, that's where the majority of our tourists are coming from. And now we've got it 2 years nationwide. So the value, anytime you have a value that increases, that does make the price. So it's actually looking at it. I hope we do find ways to where we can, offset the burden on us, because I think, it sounds kind of, it takes about 3 years for any business to really start showing an imprint. And we've already started getting some footprints. We're hearing people have already talked about it. in my business, I've seen a change in how some business is being done with us, via calling it orders, people stopping in. I've noticed a lot more people coming in from Amarillo, which is kind of a flip-flop. People come out here for lunch instead of us going out there for lunch. But I just, looking at it, it's a big number. I know y'all have all just seen the same presentation I did. There is more value that's shown. It might look like in the end of the day that we're getting the same thing, but we're actually getting a whole lot more. It's very impressive to see how this is just blown up all of a sudden. I like to hear that it's after Austin city limits.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day it'll be before Austin city limits.
Right.
That's what I'm talking
Some markets it is actually.
Is it? I'm glad it's in Amarillo now too, because it was hard for me to stay up after 10:30 on Mondays, but I try.
And we'll continue to update when we, as it goes nationally to broadcasting to different cities. We'll just so if you have family or something like that, hey, it's there and there now, hey, it's in there. And we'll always be posting that on our social platforms as well. But again, anyone in the country can stream right now. So if you ever have anyone, hey, I'd love to see it. Be like, oh, we just download PBS app.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other great TV on there. I was like, PBS is, I forgot how awesome it is.
Well, to me, it sounded like we made a good investment, so, I hope we can continue. So,
For me, thank you first and foremost for thinking of ways to offset the cost. I appreciate that. So my big question is, if we ended up needing to foot the entire bill, could we do it?
We can, obviously it's not ideal. This is obviously funded through the executive side of lodger's tax. There are funds there, but I have some other ideas. There's some things we need to do at the convention center. So I hate to, just because we have the funds tap into the 300,000, I'd like to try to find ways to offset that first. And we've had this conversation offline. We've had this conversation through lodger's tax. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Alcorn Entertainment, Ben's Enchantment for what they've done. It's amazing. We witnessed tonight, that presentation is very well put together. They hit all the high points on the contract and how all of those have been met. And plus we got bonus. We got 2 different episodes. We definitely got more bang for our buck by going PBS instead of RFD TV. With the viewership down, the larger market. The Cowboy Channel, I think you have to subscribe to get that. PBS is free. So we're talking LA, Chicago, New York. It's amazing. So production-wise, it was put together beautifully. How they did this, it's amazing. The focal point, of course, with the neon sign, we could tell you a story just about that, trying to get it to and from.
Such a champion for it.
So it's amazing. Do I think it's worth $300,000? Absolutely. With the quality that we're creating, we just have to be aware and strategic and ways to offset that cost. Like Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis said, it takes 2-3 years to get this going. Last March, we took a gamble, we took a risk with this, and we didn't know where we were going to get. We had a good idea. If not, we want to pull the trigger on it. But right now, we're starting to see the fruit of the labor now.
It's still early.
It's still early. My opinion with the Albuquerque market, they're the ones that really started blasting everything on social media, print ads. The next step is going national. So I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger. We're going to see more positive things out of this. More people are covering it.
And that's just 6 months.
That's 6 months.
That's just
So
6 months and what's happened.
the 2-year overlap, this is building the brand, and that's what we've talked about when it comes to having some kind of live festival. If people don't know about your brand, they're not going to come to this. So we have to build that brand, and I hate to invest $120,000 and have it fall out of our hands and go somewhere else. We've invested that. I want to keep on rolling with that. We just got to be strategic and try to do what we can to meet those numbers without having to invest the full $300,000.
Well, and if you don't mind adding on, we don't want to use up all the executive fund because upgrading the convention center can be very important because things like this make bands want to come out here to put on shows. And we only have one place that is big enough to hold quite a few people, and that's the convention center. And we want one that's going to be quality and talk about, festivals, things like this, bring the bands that bring the names and the people that are willing to spend the money. So yeah, we do have to, there's some avenues. Representative Chatfield, this is one of the committees he's in. is with the movies and the TV,
Right.
so I'll place a call. See.
Maybe he could help us.
We talked about reaching out. I don't know if it's pertinent to this conversation, Ken, if you want to kind of briefly touch on some of the entities you reached out to, the feedback, and the reason for the increase in cost also, besides making it what it should be, is trying to get the bigger bands as well. Some of those bands that we listed here, potential bands for season 2, they have actually won Grammys. They are people that are well-known, more than even the bands that played the first season. So with that comes a bigger price tag, and that opens up opportunities to broadcast on other big name networks, correct?
Yeah, so, part of the pause was that, I went back and obviously the editing, post, all of that, is a all hands on deck, experience. But I was able to lean into my networks in Hollywood and kind of champion the show around town, get looks at it, and it was very much well received. Beautiful. A lot of conversations of like, oh, what's Tuca Carry? Oh, cool. Oh, and some had her, some haven't. Just conversations being had. For some, it just was they needed bigger names, and it just flat out. It was just like we, for a national market, we just need a couple more, and that's just what they have to hang their hat on to their bosses, and and I said, hey, completely understand. This isn't going anywhere. We're gonna keep making it, and season 2, we're just going to keep building and building. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Mark. It is a slight increase because we do want to keep getting bigger names. And we started to have those conversations in season 1. And the nature, just to retouch on it, because to reboot a tour for someone like a Margot Price to come here for one show, not possible. It's just so expensive. She's got a huge tour bus. She's got a big, it's a lot. So if they're on tour though, that makes it more feasible.
Yeah.
And they're on tour now. And with South by Southwest and all that, it just makes it a lot more doable.
Actually, last year, we really took a chance, because we really, to be honest with you, you were an unknown production company. And actually, when I saw the whole thing that you guys presented, I was really leery, but like everything else, you have to take a chance in order to make sure that you actually promote what you have. And actually, we're sitting pretty dead, we weren't doing much promotion. I like what I see tonight. This is something that you would probably have to, again, as the commission sees, it's really very positive, and it's great. But, that would have to, and it's still coming out of the executive side, it's our decision, everything else, but still, Logitech will be the one that would really have to work with you on it, because really, it really looks good. And it's something, finding the money is the key factor. It's not what you're talking about, not wanting us to do it, it's just finding the money. And that's where we're gonna be at. Because I really do believe in it, and I think that it does have a good vision. And that's the key factor when you do presentations. Having that vision and where it's going is what's gonna help us with the community. Being in Route 66 and other things, we are very ideal to start looking on this situation. Also, the fact is, Tucumcari is heading more and more towards the liberal entertainment and music, art, and everything. And I think I see that this is very positive. But again, coming back, finding the money is where it is. It's not that me personally, I don't see it as not wanting to do it, but making sure that we could do something to help.
Absolutely, and I really do appreciate that. And we took a risk on each other, and again, I can't say enough, we are so proud with what was created. Elkhorn's prior production, one of my first television shows, which is a comedy made by Lionsgate in conjunction with us, was, what we pulled off here is something really special.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. I was just telling Mark, I do other, I did a Starbucks shoot last week, and there was a 70 crew member, there's a 30-second, 4 actors. A crew of 70 and 2 streets filled with equipment, probably, it's 30 seconds. We had a crew of 10, we had hands on deck from the city. And I don't say that to disqualify the work. It's beautiful. It came out in the video. I mean, we get nothing but great feedback. I say it because we both came together and took a risk and we pulled up
Yeah,
something.
and it's actually, you have a vision, and that's what it has to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the past, I have seen Michael Murphy, whoever his thing was. He did a lot of, at one time, we hired him to come in and do a lot of promotional. We did a lot, I mean, all over the country, everything else. It didn't have the vision that it needed, so it really didn't go anywhere other than expense, and that was about it. I don't think we even got anything much out of it. Maybe we did, but this is what happens. If you don't have a vision, you can't go forward, and then you're dead on water, like, and useless, spending money.
Well, I mean, we all see it, the vision is there, and, like I said to, the Tax Lodgers Board, like, we want to be here. This is, we have loyalty to what we've created, to what we've done together. And so, right of first refusal is yours, and we want to give a month and come back and see and obviously we'll be talking, weekly, we're going to be brainstorming. We're going to try to figure out how to offset, because we want to stay here just as much. So,
Thank you, we appreciate that
Thank
very
you.
much.
thank you.
Very much.
It has been nothing but a true pleasure, so.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you for your time.
And when did you say it's airing on New Mexico PBS?
It started, so actually this weekend is Carlos Medina's episode with Mike at Thunder.
Okay,
And yeah, it's Saturday at 4:35, and then you can catch it on the stream anytime.
Yeah, the PBS app's really nice. That's how I had to watch it the first night. My TV wasn't working for me, so it's crowded around my phone watching.
We went and pulled out the smart TV.
yeah,
I was messaging Mark, I can't find it, it ain't coming on.
right.
And we pulled out our smart TV and set it up, we got 2 TVs in the room.
The New Mexico PBS out of Albuquerque, that's kind of like the hub. As soon as they air it on Saturdays at 4:30, I don't know if it's simultaneously in the exact timeline, that's when they upload it to the website and everybody gets streaming. Once it gets uploaded, it's nationwide at that point.
Okay, all right, so next on the agenda is proclamations, memorials, or petitions. We have a proclamation declaring September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. And, is there not anyone?
I'll accept it
Okay,
for Gigi.
okay,
And she'll be in tomorrow to pick it up.
because usually it's a DAR. So do you have the proclamation?
I have the original.
And I'll sign it later. So, whereas September 17th, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution of the United States of America by Constitutional Convention, and to accord official recognition to this memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic exercise that will perform a noteworthy feature of the occasion seems fitting and proper, and public law, and whereas public law number 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designing September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, in accordance with this tradition, I hereby designate the period of September 17th through 23rd, 2021 as Constitution Week in the city of Tucumcari, and urge all citizens to pay special attention during that week to our federal Constitution and the advantages of American citizenship. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Tucumcari to be affixed to this ninth day of September 2021, Ruth Ann Litchfield, Mayor, attested by Angelica M. Gray, City Clerk. And that will be presented to Gigi Parker for DAR. Okay. Next is ordinances and resolutions. The first one is Resolution 2021-27 to request a match waiver for the Transportation Project Fund Barnes Gamble Addition Street Project. Mark, will you be doing that?
No, ma'am, Mr. Lopez will
Oh,
be.
there he is. I'm sorry, I didn't look up. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. As you know, we were awarded a transportation project fund, in the amount of $1 million, of which 95% of that is DOT funded, which would be $950,000. And our share, which is still pretty good for that much money, is $50,000. We want to apply for a match waiver to hopefully get our matching waived on that project. And it's a first come, first serve, so we're gonna try to get this in as soon as possible. This is for that Barnes Gamble Edition, excuse me. And it's for street improvements in that area, and it also goes with several other funding sources that we've already received for this. So at this time, I'd like to ask for your approval for a resolution to apply for the match waiver.
Do anyone have any questions concerning this resolution? No, I'd entertain a motion to accept resolution 2021-27.
I'll make a motion, we accept resolution 2021-27.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call please.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Gamera?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is resolution 2021-28 to accept the DOT capital appropriation project funding and pledge matching funds. And this is in the same edition.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, this is actually the legislative money that we received a year ago. They've just now got us the agreement and the resolution for that. It's in the amount of $388,190. And it's also for that same project area for streets. I hope to have this one ahead of the other ones that use it to design it already, but it's a little behind our schedule. And, but this is just to accept participation in the capital outlay for funding and also to pledge our matching funds for it, which it doesn't actually have any for this one. It's straight legislative money, so.
Any questions concerning this one, Mark?
I would just like to add a comment. This is the one that we were hoping to utilize for streets equipped, correct, for a fault machine.
Correct.
And to my knowledge, after speaking with Community Development Director Vicki Strand, she stated, after hearing from our project coordinator from DFA, that it does not appear that we'll be able to do so. So this is where we'd have to bundle it with the NMDOT funds to do some more paving in that area.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 2021-28 to accept the DOT capital appropriation project funding and pledge matching funds for the Gamble Edition.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2021-28.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call please.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Gamera?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, pardon? Oh, next on the agenda is resolution 2021-29. It's the fiscal year 2023 through 2027 ICIP resolution. And I believe Alex Villanueva will be presenting this one.
This is, like we went over in our work session, the ICIP, a resolution to adopt the changes.
Any questions concerning this resolution? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 2021-29, the fiscal year 2023 through 2027 ICIP resolution.
I'll make a motion, we accept resolution 2021-29.
Okay, do I have a
Thank you.
second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Gamera?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes. Next is bids and contracts. First one is agreement for capital appropriations project in the Barnes Gamble Edition Street Project. Ralph?
Madam Mayor, this is the agreement that goes with that resolution that I just presented. This is for the $388,190 for the Barnes Gamble Edition for street improvements. It was capital outlay administered by DOT.
Okay.
So it's a pretty straightforward agreement, and at this time, I'd like to ask for your approval.
Does anyone have any questions on this approval, on this resolution, excuse me, or agreement, bid, whatever? Okay. Then I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement for capital appropriation project in the Barnes Gamble Edition.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement for capital appropriations in the Barnes Gamble Edition.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor.
She bribed everybody. Get out of here about 7:30. So she'd win the bet.
It's not over yet.
Just letting you all know, 45 minutes of minutes are usually city manager report and commission comments, so. You may be here till 8:30.
I know mine will be brief. So,
All right, let's go.
there's a lot going on in Tucumcari. I just wanted to give an update on some of the things happening coming up. Library story time will begin October 7th and run through December 16th. And then the second session will pick up January 13th and run through April 14th. So please get down there and sign up. Other community events, don't forget that homecoming's tomorrow. Get out there and support your Rattlers. We also have the fun run coming up on October 2nd. And of course, Fired Up Friday. Make sure you get out there and attend next week. Show your support for Main Street. I'll address some things that happened previously, other commission meetings that got brought up. It's in the works. I've talked to Pat Vanderpool to provide an EDC presentation, so that'll be coming soon. We also had some concern about potential noise ordinance. We already have a certain variation of that, but been working to improve that a little bit, so that'll be coming at a further date as well. The city's also started to work diligently on the sewer issue that was brought up by Mr. Matakin. We were able to talk to the district rep for the New Mexico Health Department. Again, they kind of threw it back on the city, so we have staff working on that. I'm looking into a possibility that looks like there's 3 areas that we could potentially cite in our current ordinances. The issue with that is we do not have a municipal judge, so I'm going to check into the legality with our attorney if we could cite them and run it through magistrate court. I'm not sure if we can or not, but we're going to try.
Good.
Another hot topic we've been discussing is mosquitoes. We're aware they've been almost nearly carrying me off. We're all in this together, unfortunately. We hear the concerns. I'd like to thank our streets department, though. They did start fogging on Tuesday, and they were out again last night. We focused in a few different areas, some parks, as well as some of the places where the youth have been practicing soccer and have their games. So we'll continue to do so as the weather allows. Of course, even now, I think it's a little bit too windy to do so. So as long as the wind speeds stay down and there's no projected precipitation, we can get out there and fog. I'd like to thank Connie, her hard work. Congratulations on that $25,000 from Union Pacific. We greatly appreciate what you do for us. Cemetery, I brought this up last time. It's a seesaw. It's up and down, up and down. Everything was looking great with the rain as well as the watering. Unfortunately, the pumps already had issues. We've had the pump company, or the gentleman that we purchased the pump through, he came out to try to rebuild it. It seems like a seal's leaking, so it sounds like that's going off to either get rebuilt or replaced. So that will be back shortly. We also hear the concerns in regards to the streets issues. With this heavy precipitation, it does bring a lot of headaches to many of our departments. And one of those being is completely washing out streets, washing out material from potholes. We have a limited staff, but they are out there. They have been working on it. And I also thank the Moss for helping Blade on some streets that are of concern behind Tractor Supply. Another topic is the ambulance situation that we have. We've had some issues with some ambulances. So I'd like to thank Interim Chief Casey Mackey, Interim Fire Chief, for working and getting some paperwork together, and that went out to DFA. Before submitting to the head of that department, I asked our regional project manager for some feedback. There's some stuff that was maybe not too necessary. We went through and got some support letters from the county, San Juan, Logan, the hospital here at Dancy Trigg, as well as Guadalupe County Hospital. So we've got all those letters, everything's submitted, the price quotes, everything, and there's a few comments on that, so I'm going to get that resubmitted and sent out. But that's positive. We're trying to get funded for 2 brand new ambulances. Before I was under the assumption that these were remounts, which is a new chassis and an older box, and everything was completely gutted and replaced. However, after digging into it more thoroughly, these are actually, one's a brand new build and the other is a demo. The only difference from a demo, it's still brand new, it's never been in service. It's just out there to promote and demo to entities that may be interested in purchasing one. So that's a short-term, quick solution to it and approach.
So the
So
demo has 18,000 miles or 1,800.
1,800 miles.
1,800.
Correct. So I look forward to hopefully having some good news by next commission meeting.
Good.
What else? An update on our marketing strategy. New billboards have gone up on the Texas side, as well as 2 new billboards by Pueblo. They look good. They are out here floating around somewhere. I actually have them here. Proposed wrap cars for the museums, and in regards to the actual visitor's guide, I need to schedule some time to meet with Connie and some other individuals to make sure we get that hashed out. We've been provided some information, some narrative from Mr. Jim Hinckley, so look forward to working on that and getting that out. Tree branch pile out at Coronado Park is open Fridays and Saturdays from noon to 4 still. The only time we shut down is due to holidays or to avoid people getting stuck if we've had too much rain. Plateau computers have nearly almost all been installed, still working on that, as well as the phones. I wanted to address the phone issue because for some reason I've been getting some concerns that certain lines are just sending a busy tone instead of rolling over to voicemail. So we're working with Plateau to hash those out. With anything with this large of a project, there are going to be wrinkles. I mean, our system was old and outdated. It was in very, very poor shape. So we're only improving that. Just bear with us as we hash out some of the issues. Plateau's been amazing when it comes to customer service, whether it's on the technical side when it comes to the phones, whether it's to the IT side of things, when things aren't functioning properly. We had the salesperson drive up here one evening to deliver 2 phones to make sure we were able to cut over the phones the next morning here at City Hall. So I appreciate their customer service. I'd really like to thank Bands of Enchantment, Alcorn Entertainment, Ken, Ty, the whole group. Again, I can't say enough what they've done. And I look forward to working with them again in the future. We're going to make this happen. And last thing, and very important, I think we're going to have a special commission meeting next week. I was not allowed to talk about this until recently. As everyone's aware, the city of Tucumcari was part of a lawsuit with Tax and Rev where we did not receive our GRT the way it should have been. Now I have the documents to present. The attorney that's taking on this case asked that we get this approved next week, if at all possible, to streamline those funds coming back to the city. They're trying to get that distributed by October. So we'll have to get together. I'm asking now for the majority of the commission what works best next week. That gives us 72 hours notice as we need to. And once we discuss that, that concludes my manager's report.
Do we want to do it on Thursday or normal night?
I won't be here.
You won't be here?
How about Monday?
If we get it published tomorrow, we could make that happen.
I won't be here Monday
Okay.
either.
Monday, give us 72 hours.
How about
Bill?
Wednesday in the afternoon, late after work?
We can make that work too. That was the
Well, Wednesday.
attorney's comment. If we could at least do it on Wednesday, it would be.
That's the only time.
Wednesday in the afternoon, because I have the Fort Summer Clinic.
So what time are you leaving, Mayor Pro Tem?
I was hoping immediately.
Immediately tonight, you mean?
No, we're supposed to be leaving Wednesday afternoon
Okay.
by 4. It was when Jackie gets out of school.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday, just Tuesday.
Tuesdays, not for me.
We can do it Wednesday if everybody's good for it. You know,
I am.
So Wednesday, 3 o'clock?
No, it's too early. How about 4:30?
Sure,
Well, that puts you even later leaving though.
that's all right.
No, because
I
I have to
stopping
drive.
4 hours
I have to drive
in
from Fort
anyway.
Summer in.
Pardon?
After 4 hours, I'm gonna pull in and
Oh,
get on.
Okay. All right, so what time Wednesday?
What's there?
Can you be there Wednesday afternoon?
Yes, the afternoon works better for me.
Okay,
Let's say 4:30.
4:30, okay. How long do you think it'll take? Very long?
It's 3 documents, shouldn't be long at all. I would say 10 minutes tops. I am gonna request that,
Oh, okay.
Mr. Creeley, the attorney, be present to maybe answer any kind of questions, but it's a settlement agreement and we'll go through the rundown once you receive the documents.
Guarantee?
No, there's no.
I will not guarantee, but I would expect that's the only thing we should have on the agenda and we can knock it out quick and straight to the point. This is the lawsuit, this is what it's concerning, and this is what we have to sign off to.
Okay, so 4:30 Wednesday the 15th.
Are you gonna need a, executive session prior to approval?
No, ma'am, I asked that, and he said everything's public knowledge. Tax and Rev gave their press release to stay out ahead of this. So everything now is public knowledge, and we're able to go ahead and move forward freely now.
Okay. Okay. We'll get you out here as soon as possible. Okay. All right. Okay, anything else?
No, ma'am, that's it.
Okay, so next is items from commissioners. Commissioner Villanueva, we'll start with you tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I talked to Mark a few things today about the street sweeper. And all the potholes is getting bad. Oh, the old houses that burnt, that we paid to get them knocked down and everything. Whose, deal is it to go mow and clean them up?
Not the cities, we have not acquired those properties, they're not city properties, so that would still fall back on the owner of the property. We'd have to go back and look through the tax assessor's office to see who owns the land. On a few of those, I know some of the landowners were deceased and there's no next of kin, so it's kind of just out there floating around.
That's the one on Second Street.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
So
we couldn't do anything about it because we have a lien. And it's about it.
Correct. And it's really hard for us to have much leverage with not having a municipal judge to enforce these. If we were to give citations,
Yes.
so we just got to be diligent. I've talked to the interim chief of police and he's helped reformat the letter that goes out to these citizens. Again, I think we talked about this before, to be more customer friendly, be nice and say, hey, look, please take care of your situation. It looks bad. And if that doesn't work, then we kind of escalate it and tell them, okay, look, we gave you a warning. We're trying to work with you here. Now we got to take it to the next level and you may be issued a citation. We've talked about some of the bad properties as previously discussed at the commission meetings and just doing what we can.
In order for anything to be done, you have to have an ownership. And then I think that property doesn't have an ownership.
Correct.
Several properties don't have an ownership.
Yes, sir.
So there's very little the city can do unless going in premium.
And our lease
Same
agreement
thing
for
with
how
the
long?
motels then? You know, run down.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Same thing with the motels?
Unfortunately.
Oh, about the COVID that we were talking about earlier.
Yes, sir. So the governor is supposed to be giving an update, I believe, September 15th. You're referencing an internal city policy I discussed earlier. As things progress, if we have internal cases or questions, those individual department heads are either contacting me directly so I can update them, or they're also reaching out to Shannon Shea as HR director. So we're definitely getting the information out there. So we're trying to make sure that everyone's being safe. Of course, the governor's mandated masks within buildings. Being that the 15th next week, I want to see if anything else is going to change before I push out that policy since it's so close to that time frame. But anybody with questions can feel free to call me or Shannon.
One more thing, I had a couple people complain about the city yards.
As far
You know,
as,
they put the tarps or whatever.
The privacy netting,
Yeah.
The what?
the privacy netting that goes around, we had it around the pool. They
Oh,
had it.
yeah.
Because I guess somebody said that a guy got caught with some tires in his backyard, and then he took a picture of the tires we got in our yard by the rec center.
So is the complaint about the
Dumping.
netting or the actual
The
tires?
netting, because he said you could see everything, all the junk cars, all the tires, stuff like that, you know.
So one thing I'm happy to announce is, James Moore, the county manager, reached out to me. The county will be having an auction soon for their surplus equipment. I plan on jumping on board. We briefly talked about it, just that it's coming up, potentially in November. And some of those old junk cars and whatnot, I want to try to get out of here. So, some of it's out of our control. If it's the netting, so they can't see it outside, out of mind, we could work on that as well.
I just want to thank bands of the channel for coming in. Hopefully we can work together, Connie, them, Ralph and Alex, at the planning development, thanks for all the hard work you guys do. That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Moya?
First, I'd like to start off with COVID. COVID is a very serious thing, and I really had enjoyed the time that we were not using the mask. I really enjoyed it was great. But I'll be honest, it's a very serious thing, especially the Delta. My sister has been in ICU, and the machine had been breathing for her for 20 days, and she's a young lady with very healthy. So this is a very serious because it attacks the respiratory system, and it really, the ICUs are full, it's a mess, it's not a joke. This happened, like I told you last meeting, 2 minutes, and I winded up getting it and then passing it on to her, which is a sad thing. You know, that's only because I let my guard down. So don't let your guard down, fight it, keep going forward. Eventually, hopefully, we'll stable out. The CDC is saying there's a new strains coming in until over on all the states, so we have to extremely be careful. And I think if we cooperate and fight it, I think we go forward and this will come to succumb itself. The other thing I'd like to talk about is, first of all, I think, Mark, you're doing good in trying to get the convention center into what we call a good structure. I know that a lot has not been done there. We're not only talking about the structure of the building, we're also talking about how our fees are and what we charge at the bar. All those are of essence, because all that is money that the community is generating, you know. Actually, the whole deal behind it, and to be honest with you, the commission has kind of stayed I have stayed a little blind because I have not seen numbers, figures, what's losing, what's not losing, and because a lot of it is supported by other means. So I think if we get on top of it, it'd be like any department or any entity of the city. I think we can make it very successful convention, and actually for what we created was to bring revenue into the community.
And I agree with that. I failed to mention that with the lodging tax meeting we had this week. There was a presentation with that concern from the chairperson of the lodging tax board. I agree. Some of these price and structures, I know they were amended. I don't remember the exact year by Ms. Manley. She presented that, but prior to that, they had not been approved since around 2011, I think. We have to get with the times. We have to be realistic. Excuse me, that also includes the Del Norte Center. That's something that's very reasonable, and there's some things that need to be addressed, and I agree with you. As we're getting these new computers, and they're easy to filter through, and you don't have to sit there and wait 15, 20 seconds for it to respond. I was able to go to some prior records that show those reports. What did we truly spend, and what did we make? Not, we did 4,000 alcohol sales, but did we account that we had to pay 2-3 bartenders? Did we account that we had to pay for the alcohol itself? So these are things that I'm requesting, that I need the convention center director to provide those kind of reports, and that's something that. And
also the fact is that, you know, when you're under marketing yourself, you don't make a profit. And that's money to pay those expenses don't come from somewhere else. And I remember when I go up there and I saw the prices, I thought, wow, it's pretty good. In other words, that's the only time I volunteer to buy a drink for somebody, anyway.
Yes, sir, I agree with that.
And also there was some conversations, a lot of people in reference, and I'm gonna be straightforward and get the ball rolling on. And that is in reference to the Route 66 Museum. They were concerned because they feel that as you do the renovation and the studies and everything else, that maybe that space might be utilized for more profitable for the convention center. What I like to really, in all fairness, and what's right's right and what's fair's fair, we have 2 other museums. We house them, we help them. And I'd like to suggest to the commission and the larger staff that maybe we need to look for a nice building for them, where they can display. I don't see a problem if there's so many garages. For example, there's one cat a corner from, what do you call that, the Chamber of Commerce. Actually, and it's more centrally located, or somewhere in anywhere, you know what I mean? Maybe like Mom Motors, and something where they can display cars, they can display what they really, really have. And it benefits both, you know. We help the Railroad Museum, we give them housing, we help the Historical Museum, we give them housing. And also, the Route 66 is very, very important because economically, the Route 66 is very popular, people love, they're constantly in front of the convention center taking pictures of the back of that, what is it, 1959 or 57 Dodge. So, you know, I'd like to recommend to the commission and the larger staff that we look into housing them. Now we have paid the convention center. Now it's probably time to do it in a promotional area, which would be ideal to get in a building where they could actually be located right in where you can see them in the middle of Route 66. It is a little detached when it's in the convention center. And I think that's something that maybe you guys need to look at, because we do need to support them, because it's part of their tourism, and I think they would agree. I think Route 66 is very, very super popular everywhere I go out here.
And I see where you're coming from, Commissioner. I know that was proposed by a former lodging tax board member. I know we've had great opportunities in the past that might have slipped through the cracks. I think it'd be ideal if we could, not only to house Route 66, but there's an attractive offer to try to bring another individual that has many Route 66 assets here to Tucumcari. It's been presented in the past, and I echo, I've heard rumors that the city's trying to get rid of them and throw them out, and that's false.
No, that's false.
But I do agree with that. That was brought up yesterday at the lodging tax as well, because there is lost revenue for that Fort Bascom room. I know that. I've attended many events, birthday parties, weddings, and that is a source of revenue that we are missing out. But again, I don't think any of us would agree that we want to throw them out.
No. The whole deal is, let's give them their own identity.
Correct.
Because actually, I didn't even know the museum was there until one day I was at the convention, somebody showed me they were there. And I'll be honest with you, give them their own identity, their own building, their own creation. There's a lot of volunteer time, a lot of energy, the people that put it in, a lot of dedication. And I think when we see this, I think as a governing body, we should give them the promotion they need. Okay, and the next I had on my agenda, first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about the ambulance. First of all, today I got a call from the governor's office, Diego Arsenco, chief of staff of the governor, and he called today to say that they had done most of the work and they're waiting for you guys to bring the remainder paperwork in for our help in the ambulance, and they mentioned, and actually the governor has been very, very on top of this. She has been very responsive to this, to our need. She sees the necessity and what we need to do to make sure that the area is well cared for and protected for. The other thing is that I also like to point out to the commission, and what also brought to my attention today that is important about Essence to people here. As you people know, a lot, you know, when you're a public official, people call them and inform you of what's going on, whatever. Last week, I think, they had an ambulance call where they went out to the rural area and a gentleman had gotten hurt or somebody had. And what happens when they loaded the gentleman in the vehicle transmission did not work. They just stopped, they couldn't go anywhere. So this is really a situation because of the pandemic and how overwhelmed our ambulance have come into play, you know? And that's why when this, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the city of Tucumcari and the governing body has been very, very responsible in making sure that we manage this ambulance in a very, very business-like. We have gone in and we have reduced our deficit in the ambulance from the general fund from almost $300,000 to almost $80,000 in deficit. And they did it by getting good billing people, good education on how to bill for service, how to bill for level of care. So really, the governing body and the city of Tucumcari has really come in to correct it. The sad thing about it, we hit a pandemic, which is a very hard time. You know what I mean? A hard time that had put us under a little bit. The governor's office has said that they probably, as soon as they get everything within about, like you said, 2 weeks, I think we're gonna be looking at a good results of working together. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Tucumcari Public Schools and the board of directors and their administrators. When we're having this crisis, they came forward and offered their help and said anything they could do to help, they wanted to, because they understand they're part of the community. They probably don't have to because they have a different entity, but this is a very kind-hearted gesture and support for our community. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they are willing to help maybe fix one of the ambulances. And that's really, really super, super great to have that kind of support from another entity. This is very important because if you look at it, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're hundreds of miles away. And makes it hard to not have that stability. And that's what we like. I also would like to share a letter. You know, as you know, we have clinics in several different counties. So I got access to a lot of stuff. And this is a letter, and this letter explains very clearly what we're going through and what's happening in the rule of New Mexico. And this letter comes from Guadalupe County, who is in the same boat in many ways as we are. And this comes from the administrator, Christina Campos. And this will define what we're going through and the struggles we're going through and what we're going to do to correct it. It says, as administrator of Guadalupe County, I would like to express my wholehearted support for the distribution of funds to the city of Tucumcari EMS for purchase of a new ambulance, rural EMS, ambulance service throughout New Mexico. For the distribution of funds for the city of Tucumcari EMS for purchase of a new ambulance. Rural EMS and ambulance service throughout New Mexico struggle. Not only do they have to provide emergency service to the elderly, the sick population, they have to provide transfer to higher level of care from the small local hospital to larger urban hospital, often hundreds of miles away. This puts a tremendous amount of wear and tear on the vehicle. Also, strains small services which must be contained to provide emergency care locally. While one or two of their units are on transfer. As you well know, healthcare, practically hospital care, is currently in crisis due to the impact of Corona-19, especially in rural communities. Our small hospitals do not have ICU, but are having to care for ICU patient units, facilities, beds, and medical staff are available in larger hospitals than here. Then the challenge of getting our patients from here to there starts. Rural communities need more robust and better equipment, emergency medical service to handle county-wide calls and transfer. Air transportation is often not available due to weather conditions and extraordinary or extra expenses running up to $75,000 for a transport from Santa Rosa to Albuquerque. An investment on upgrading EMS is guaranteed to provide a huge return on the investment, especially in the cost of serving to patients and payers. Throughout the year, Tucumcari EMS has been a solid partner for our hospital in Santa Rosa, transferring patients to ground to higher level of care, where EMS is unable to do so, which sadly is all too often. As such, I urge you provide the funding they need to continue to provide the quality emergency care to their community and reliable ground transportation to communities when they need it. This explains really good the struggles we're having here in rural Mexico. People don't understand how hard it is. Because we used to live here, and this is hopefully I'm very happy all the support we're getting, and everybody, and I'm very grateful to the governor really pushing the issue. And also the fact is that I know that you're working very hard, and I think we might, pretty soon we will have this solved. And right now, it's important because it's part of our stability here for healthcare. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Next is Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Just got a few things. On the tree branch dump, an individual said they, we discussed this earlier in the week, and suggested they can go out to the city dump. They went to the city dump and was turned away and told to go to the tree dump.
Really?
Now, I'm not sure how many times that happened, but when I suggested that, they're like, well, I went out there and they told me to go to the tree dump. So what do I do? So,
I'll look into that because our conversation, we discussed the potential of opening up different hours and accommodating certain people. And I said, we couldn't show favoritism if we did it for one, we had to do it for all. That didn't work with staffing. I've been told in the past that it's the same thing. If it's refuse, we could send it out to the landfill. They'd have to pay to dispose of it.
Mhm.
Not sure why it was turned away, but I will look into that.
Okay. Also with that, it was mentioned to this individual that there's citizens that have keys to the tree dump. And they were actually told they should call a certain individual, I'm not gonna say no names, but was told to call an individual that they got keys to the tree dump. Is there any way we can change that lock to make sure there's not actual keys out there? This is the first I've heard of it, and I don't know. He didn't check to verify if the individual did, because he didn't think that was appropriate, but, if we need to change the locks, I think that'd be the best thing to do. The cannabis ordinance, where are we at on that?
We received feedback. The attorneys amended it twice, I believe. It's ready for publication now. And Healthy emailed me yesterday and says, are you ready for this to go? And we're ready to go.
In that is the mixed zoning for downtown involved in that, or are we using that on a different ordinance?
That needs to be a separate ordinance. I think it needs to be on its own.
Thanks for getting the broom factory cleaned up. Is there any way we can ensure this guy is doing this at least every 2 weeks?
I don't know about I could propose that. The other thing that on your behalf, requested last time I spoke with Mr. Vanderpool on potential if contractual obligations are not being met, if we could terminate that contract. And he recommended that we reach out to our attorney, so I could do so. We still choose to do so.
Okay. There was a letter, I'm assuming you got it, I got it, concerning some property around Georgetown. The citizen's very happy. She's seeing that right away, that things are being done. I appreciate you doing that. It's nice when the citizens come back and, are appreciative of the feedback that they've received. I want to read a text message I got. I had talked to you earlier this particular morning after that serious rainstorm we had that actually kind of wiped out several streets. This individual, I'm not going to say his name on the radio, but he wanted to thank us, you, the city maintenance department. Y'all went out there so quickly and getting the work cleaned up, the mess on the street after the last rainstorm. which washed out some of their road and pavement. We also helped dig out in front of our house while they were here and gave each of them a cold bottle of water. We appreciate everyone's hard work and the quick response, especially with so many other priorities I'm sure y'all have around town, and they want to thank us. Again, it's nice when people are responding with that kind of feedback. I want to congratulate the Rattler football team, the volleyball teams. It's nice to see that they're winning and that they're competing again. It's been kind of a rough year and a half not knowing how the Rattlers should be doing. It was nice to see I know it was a New Mexico Department of Transportation street sweeper, but it was nice seeing him going up. Jack and I have done some walks along First Street and that dirt was getting pretty high. Other than that, that's all I got. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Arias?
Thank you, Mayor. Mark, it sounds like you've been busy.
No.
You've been busy, getting some things accomplished. We certainly appreciate that. Ken, you and your brother, you and Ty, thank you guys for your hard work. Definitely look forward to continuing the partnership there. Connie, great job on that grant. I'm sure that East Rooms and electricity is great as the rest of the depot. A lot of the phone calls I've been receiving are potholes, so we're just gonna keep urging everyone to get those called in, that way we can get these roads patched back up and hopefully back up to par.
Okay, well, that's what I try to tell them, is don't call me, call the city and put a work order in, but they don't.
Let the process work.
Right. I've got several questions. I had a phone call from Tony Wilson wanting to know if we'd come up with a solution to the 911 calls that are not being answered.
So we did investigate this. She was invited to the dispatch board meeting, did not show up. In regards to our officers not responding to the 911 call or being late, that was bogus. I had the police department look into it. I had dispatch pull the records and the times. It was false. So that's where the solution is still, of course, in any kind of emergency situation, please call 911. But the way it was expressed was not what was determined once we did the investigation.
Okay. All right. The other question I had is that property on 2nd Street, it's Greg Carnifex one. I took pictures of the backyard and everything and sent to you, and it's even worse now, the alley and all that. It's just, it's dangerous, especially for the little kids that live around there. So I don't know, is our nuisance officer still giving tickets, or is she doing?
So right now, she's pulling double duty. She is doing animal control as well as code enforcement. This kind of goes back to the situation where we can provide citations, but ultimately those would end up in court if we do not have a municipal judge. At quite a few meetings back, it's been a month or two, we discussed the possibility of trying to reach out to find a substitute judge. We've been unsuccessful. There's been ads ran in the paper, reached out to prior substitute judges, no luck, so I want to try to reach out to some more. I was misinformed. It's not true that we could pull somebody from outside the city. So we would have to reappoint someone in an interim basis to try to get those heard.
Have you talked to the lady who used to be here, the alternative one?
That has, yes, sir,
Ms.
that's been discussed. I believe Paula Chavez reached out to her. Yes, sir. She has moved, yes.
Oh, she did move?
Yes.
Okay, I know this is a concern on 6th and Crutcher, the potholes that are, well, past my ankles. They're very deep, and there's like 4 of them right there. And I've asked you several times about barrels or something could be done there.
So we've discussed this numerous times. We have done some cleanup there. There was the first report of gravel. The gravel was cleaned up. The next thing was the potholes. Right after our conversation that evening, Danny Byler did go out and place barrels. Those 2 barrels have now been stolen.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Also,
And the work orders are in the system. That's been relayed numerous times to the
okay, all right. And the property out by Dr. Corey's that we own, that is awful. I mean, that really does need to be mowed. Somebody went in and was nice enough to mow part of it to kind of keep the snakes and stuff away from Dr. Corey's office. But it's like, the weeds are probably as tall as I am.
That was addressed, I will look into that and see why that has not been completed.
Okay. All right, I guess that's all I have. Thank you, Connie, for everything you're doing. Thank you, Ken. We appreciate you and Ty and your hard work and looking forward to season 2. So we'll get together and work on that. Anyway, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Gamma,
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
So we've got it right in the middle and hell, because we'll just buy each other a go.
We both want, I guess.